What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. We got Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C. We got Matt. We'll get to that. And we got Tanner the Head. We got our show partners, Elite Nutrition Omaha. Check them out at EliteNutritionOmaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. Go to the store, yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
We got Rosewood Block. Makes the best cutting boards and barbecue, fully customizable, or they have some that are just pre-made and you can order whenever. Check them out, rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. This is our third week of check-ins.
Yeah.
Check-ins and tips and whatnots and who's it's. Chris wasn't here for last week's because we know he's just still running.
I actually haven't ran this week.
Why not?
Cool. So you're really holding up on your...
Hey, I'm being honest. Haven't ran this week.
Why not?
I don't know. It's cold outside, so I didn't run.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Rucking's a little different. We're just walking. I actually run. I'm going to eat shit, and then I won't be able to go to work. So no one's cleared their sidewalks. Okay, no one's following the city code for how long it takes to clear the sidewalk.
We walked on F Street. You can run in the street.
My fucking street is like a sheet of ice around my house.
Get some yak tracks.
That's why I haven't ran, and I cannot make myself run on the fucking treadmill anymore. So
It's called discipline, Chris.
I will be back on it this week, though.
Yeah.
I still have done actual cardio workouts, so like I said, when I don't run.
Masturbating doesn't count.
It doesn't? No.
So no workouts then.
Well, back to ground zero.
Starting over. So, but yeah, I still
Chris
do
just puts his like Apple Watch in his right hand. He's like, look at all these steps I got. 14,000 steps.
right arm is like twice the size. I got that one muscle, at the top of the forearm. I'm a champ. Anyway, I'm still doing cardio-based stuff. It's actually, I think the cardio stuff that I do with that when I don't run is probably harder than running, because it seems like now when I run, I'm just kind of getting into the motion. But I really want to start ramping it up, like I said, when it's nicer outside, so I can really get after it. But I will be back on it this week. I'll run like 3 times this week, I promise.
Tanner?
Yeah, hit all my workouts. Fucking had the most mentally challenging workout I think of my life. So I had a ruck and it was just fucking cold, and I just live out in the country. So I was like, I'll just do it on a fucking treadmill. Okay, just put fucking 60-pound pack, fucking treadmill. I was pissed. Like I was pissed the entire time.
So mad.
Oh, I was mad. Like Nicole's talking to me. I'm like, I'm just mad right now. Like I'm mad. I'm staring at this fucking wall. Like when you have your pack on, you guys rucked, right? Mm-hmm. So like you can't. Like your head, like you have to like kind of stay forward. You can't, like, if you put your head down, you're just pulling everything down.
Yeah.
So on the goddamn treadmill, like where you'd put your phone at, I couldn't even look at it, because like it just hurt to have my like neck back. I'm just pissed off. So I finished it, hated every fucking second of it. But it's just that discipline, Chris.
Tanner, I'm fucking proud of you.
Do you think with your head going forward, that's just because of your head weight? Because when I looked at the ground, and it didn't bother me at all.
It's got to be like a head weight thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
I mean, if you want to start talking shit, you're using like a third of the weight I'm using rucking. So
yeah, that's fine.
You got to think of like the pendulum.
Yeah.
He's always fighting that.
The fulcrum.
He's always just fucking battling.
yeah. You know how that's why like this extra neck work I've been doing for this workout. Like I feel like it's good.
Yeah, you don't need it.
He needs shoulder work to make his head look smaller. We're still jumping. We did some. We've just been changing varieties of jumps each week, and then I did go on a ruck with Matt and Coach X and Firefighter Jeff on Friday. It was real fucking brisk on the north-facing streets.
Yeah,
that one got chilly.
And then we had to go 45 minutes because Matt's starting 75 hard.
Mm-hmm.
And before
you're like,
well, I didn't know how long we were going to go. I was like, oh, we're going like 20 minutes. Matt's like, well, I got to do 45. And I was like, fuck, cool. Which it wasn't bad once we got going.
Yeah.
Because Matt started 75 hard, but before he's going to talk about that, but before we go into it, Matt will talk about, there's not anything else but 75 hard. Anybody who tells you there is fucking lying. The guy who made 75 hard.
75 light then?
Get out of here. Andy Frisella made it. It's a mental toughness and training program, but it's 75 hard. It's not medium. That shit is made up. That is not. If somebody's doing it, that's their own thing. I guess it's progression, but the actual thing was not made by him who wrote it.
If you want to make lifestyle changes and some of those things that Andy Frisella talks about, you want to add in, That's cool. Do it. That's your goal. But don't say you did 75 hard.
Right.
Don't say you did 75 light. Don't say you said 75 kinda. Those aren't things.
Right.
You
I
either
think
do
Tough Mudder
all of
Light-
it or you don't fucking do it,
Yeah.
which is fine. But
Right.
just like, especially to the people who have actually done it, I think it's got to be fucking aggravating.
Right.
Well, like I did 75 hard-ish.
Right.
Like-
it's like you run a half marathon. You're like, oh, I did the marathon light.
Yeah.
No,
gotta
motherfucker,
use
you did a
that
half
voice.
marathon.
You did a half marathon.
You got to use that voice when you say hardish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actual 75 hard is it's 7 days a week,
Yep.
2 workouts a day, 1 inside, 1 outside, 45 minutes each.
Yep. At least. Yep.
No alcohol. Read 10 pages a day and clean up your diet. Basically, right? He just doesn't have a real diet plan.
And
It just
drink a
says
gallon of
pick
water
a
a
diet
day.
and stick to it.
Yeah, and then drink a gallon of
And
water.
drink a gallon of water.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's actual 75 hard,
Yep.
which you've started. Him and Aaron started, and there's some incentives in there which are pretty creative. But I'll let Matt tell
Yeah.
that part.
So we got started on that because we talked about it, I don't know, several months ago, and I was like, that'd be fucking cool. That sounds hard. Let's do that. And so I talked to her about it, and she was like, oh, no. I was like, okay, cool, nice idea. And we went on.
I'm not gonna do it by myself.
Yeah, and so then I think I brought it up to her again, and she was like, oh yeah, there were some people at work that were talking about that. That sounds kind of cool. Is that something like we could do together? And I was like, yes, we could. I'm glad that someone else was the catalyst for this, but I'm glad we're doing it. So we decided that, yep, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take it on. Started last Monday, except to get a little skin in the game for it, we said that we're gonna hold each other accountable to the point of if one of us doesn't get one of the daily items done, then $100 goes into, call it the other person's fund, where it's like I can spend this money on whatever the fuck I want and you can't say anything about it. So if like she just quit today, I'd have, I don't know, $6,000 or whatever, something like in the bank. So each
All at once.
yeah, all at once. Like it just goes into the piggy bank, and then you get to do kind of whatever you
Matt's
want.
gonna make it. Matt's gonna make it rain in the strip club.
dude. And I mean, and like we kind of joked about it that it all comes out of the same bank account, but on the same hand, like if she had like $2,500 to go spend on fucking chicken shit, I'd be so pissed. I'm like, you spent what on these fucking birds? So there's like that incentive piece along with us to just like try to hold each other accountable. So that's what we kind of
So
got
part
right
of 75 hard is if you miss a day, you start over.
It's supposed to be if you start
Yeah,
over.
you actually have to start completely over if you miss
If you miss,
anything.
if you fuck up day 74, you're
you start
zero.
all over.
Even if you're
Yep.
sick, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Right. And so for like myself, like I'm not going to miss anything. Like I know, like I have to fly out tomorrow morning at 5:30 to go to Philly for some work. I know I'm not going to be able to make it to a gym to get like a workout, but I can. The backpack I travel with is the same one I ruck with, so I'm not going to carry my plate in it, but I'll take my backpack, and then when I'm out there and have a break between some meeting stuff at night, I'm going to grab as much heavy shit as I can out of my hotel room and put it in there.
Can you travel with a plate? Can you travel? You can travel, can you?
You might be able to, but I
You
don't-
might have a hard time with just weight limits.
Well, how much is your plate though? 25?
somewhere between 20 and 30. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So like I could, but just to be safe, I'm like, I'll take that, but I'll just pack it full of shit. But in order to get my other workout in, it's like I'm going to probably get up at 2:30 or 3. You go to the gym, get a workout in, come home, clean up, and then travel off and get that stuff taken care of. And so it's like no intention to miss any of that stuff. But thus far, it's like it's not physically demanding. Like the workouts, like I'm already going to work out. Cool. I added another one, which is just a workout outside, right? So we either picked a distance to walk to. So like the first day that we did it, we picked a distance to walk to. Same thing that you've been doing, right? Like walk out 22.5 minutes, stop, turn around. But we had these like little reflector like things at the end of our driveway. And so I just took one with us. We walked out, got down by the river onto this trail, went down, and where we stopped, stuck it in the ground, went back. And then the next day, the objective was to get down and go past that point. Right?
Yep.
So it's not going to be just like an easy, we just do this one path. It's like, no, we have to get further than we did before.
That's cool.
And so when it gets a little nicer outside, we'll try to do some like different workout stuff. But like right now, like what was that? When did we get all that snow? Tuesday? Thursday, maybe?
Thursday.
The squall.
Yeah. So Thursday, I got like the gym session in. I was like, all right, cool. I never watched the news, so I didn't know we were supposed to get shit on. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking terrible. But I was like, well, 45 minutes of outside workout. Cool. So I grabbed my shovel and I went outside and started shoveling our entire driveway all the way down behind our house and everything by hand for 45 minutes. And you bet your ass as soon as that timer went off, fucking shovel went in the shop. Four-wheeler came out. We're like, we're fucking getting this thing done. But it was my 45 minutes of outside stuff. So I think you can be a little creative with kind of what you use. But it's also like with intent. Like I'm not just like, right, trying to do that. But
Well, when you're outside and it's freaking cold, you might as well move. Because
Right.
being like slow and cold, it's just colder.
yeah, and shoveling in the wind was just every scoop I took, I bet half of it came back on the driveway. And I was like, all right, well, cool. Still working out outside.
Yeah, me and the guy who plows my street, like if we like meet up, I'm kicking his ass. I'm just kicking his ass. Like, oh, they're out there working. No, this motherfucker is just plowing people in, laughing about it. Like he's in a truck,
Yeah.
like he's pissing me off. So I just snowblow it out in the street now. Like I don't give a shit. Like say something to me. Like I have 5 stall wide. You have me buried 3 feet in. Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing.
Wow, that seems aggressive.
It was. I was very pissed off.
So you're on day 6
6, yeah.
or 7?
7, yeah. 6, yeah, 8 will be tomorrow. But yeah, it's like just trying to making the stuff a priority.
What are you
The
reading?
challenge. I am reading, like is it Lifespan, Longevity? The one by Peter Attia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just came out with a book.
But can you do an audiobook and listen to 10 pages? Does that count?
He actually doesn't even want you using a Kindle. He actually wants you using a paper book. He says there's something with flipping pages. Whatever. I mean, when it comes to that, do whatever you want, I guess. But he wants you to actually read a paper book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I have the paper book and I just read through that. But I've tried to do that to make it not just like, oh my God, I have to grind through these 10 pages. It's like if I was reading this organically, where would be like a good cutoff kind of thing. So
I
like
just fall
last night
asleep.
was
That's
like
my
15 pages, and
Yeah.
I have done that. I don't know, a couple nights ago I was reading, fell asleep, woke up like 30 minutes later. So I started reading at like 9:30, fell asleep, woke up at like 11:30 because my light was still on. I was like, fuck, I've got like 4 pages left. So I got up and went out in the kitchen and read those last pages and then went back to bed. But it still got all done in that day.
And then somebody was talking to me the other day about 75 hard. And they're like, oh, so it's just 75 and you're done. No, there's actually like a live hard program that he'll run after that. And Andy has all this stuff. You can go on his website. You can buy the book, but he also has it on his audio podcast. It's not on his YouTube, I think. It's on his audio. He gives you all the information for both of them, I believe. I can't remember what episode it is, but
And I think that 75 Hard is a great program. I think if you are going from doing jack shit, though, I don't think it's the best thing to start with.
It could be tough.
Yeah, it could. Well, I just think that maybe you just need to get some habits in place first. Like if you're going to go and say, "Hey, I haven't gone to the gym in 5 years. Now I'm going to work out twice a day."
Right.
You know.
yeah, but I mean, do you think it's all relative? You're only going to train what you can, and then you're just walking. You don't have to have a weighted pack on. You're supposed to be doing some outside. So if you go for a walk,
I mean, maybe.
I mean, I think it's all relative of what you do. Like us now. Here, if someone's one of the dozens listening, like we talk about getting into things like back into jumping, or you're doing that Tom Havlin workout. Chris trying to run certain times. We're all, as weird as it sounds if you're watching, we all are somewhat conditioned athletes. As weird, like we're not just blindly jumping in and throwing on 20 pound, 30 pound, 60 pound packs and walking. Like we're obviously at a stature that we can do that in a training area where we can do that and not die. I'm not saying if you're going to you should jump into 75 hard, put on a 30 pound pack and go walk for 45 minutes or shovel your drive. It's all relative to what we're doing. Like, so if you just got into the gym, I think you could do 75 hard as a beginner.
Yeah.
Not to argue, but I just think you could because you're doing it all relative to what your workout could be.
You could. It takes an additional level, I think, because if you're not already working out and you're not already eating kind of well and you're not already drinking a bunch of water
And not drinking alcohol.
yeah, and you're drinking a bunch of alcohol, like there's 4 pretty big changes that you have to make. And again, it's simple. Like everything that is on that list is fucking really simple, but it's not easy, right? So
Because it's more of a mental toughness program
100%.
than it is a physical
It is.
fitness program.
It is.
The way he designed it.
yeah, no, yeah, it's 100% just like build that accountability, build some of that stuff. Like when we were talking to Kelly earlier, and he was brought up the accountability thing. I remember thinking that last night when I was reading the pages. Like Erin read hers, she fell asleep, and I'm then there reading, and I'm getting real fucking tired. Like it's a struggle, and I'm like, I can just say I did it. Like nobody's gonna know that I didn't get through all my pages, and like I read my pages, cool, and then we go on. But I'm like, no, at least one person knows. Probably the most important person, me. Like I know that I didn't read it. So thought I finished.
So I had 2 things left on my workout from the other day, and it was just like, and I just ran out of time. I had done a double workout, and I just ran out of time. So they're still there. I haven't closed that day yet. When I leave, as soon as we're done here, I'm going back out there and finishing that. And then I hit my other ones. Like nobody knows. I could just hit the button.
Right, you like
Just hit done.
yeah.
Logged.
Yep. Yep. So everything going on that is good. But the cool thing about it is like it all aligns with stuff I was going to do for this year anyway. But I'd say addition to that is I did take Lane's combative handgun solutions class on yesterday. And it was fucking cool. It was a really,
And you
really
were paying
cool
for it today.
Oh my God, I hurt today. I think between the ruck on Friday, like fighting people for 4 hours plus yesterday, and then when I got home last night, again, so I got home, I don't know, 7:30 or so. I needed to eat because I was starving, but I also needed an outside workout. And so I threw the ruck on, went down to the forgot store down in the corner to get some food, and then rucked back. And that was just like too much. My body's like, fuck you, buddy. We are done. We are tired. So today I'm pretty miserable. But the class itself was really cool. There were people of all different experience levels. Like there were 3 or 4 people who are new-ish to pistol shooting competitions, but have no jiu-jitsu, no fighting, no experience like that, all the way through to some people who were, brown and purple belts who train with Lane regularly. One guy was like I don't know if it's black belt Muay Thai, but he owns like a Muay Thai gym and like coaches there. And so he was part of that class. So he had like all these different skill levels and stuff. And at no point did anyone feel like they were just left behind, or that if someone didn't get something, people were like, oh, that guy's fucking stupid. Like it was really, really well done to take you kind of all the way through it. And the ultimate culmination is you get to the end and you get to play with sim rounds, which I hadn't used before, but they were super fun. And I'm really glad that I didn't get shot with them, but I got to shoot 2 people with them. Unfortunately, I did not get to shoot Matt Selling. I really, like I was hoping, like we got paired up against each other in the first evolution and he was the good guy. I'm like, oh, that motherfucker's got a gun. I'm going to fucking shoot him with it so bad. I'm just going to kill him. But we didn't. Our fat asses made it to the ground, and then it was just on the ground fighting. And I punched him in the head a lot and tried to knee him. I thought about just like kicking him in the balls while we were down there because I'm like, well, I know he doesn't have a cup on, but I didn't. But.
And I think for anybody who's listening, Lane does travel to do those too.
Yeah, he does. He really wants to get it up and going in Omaha. He said so we had, I don't know, 12, 15 people in the class.
What's the cost for it?
That one was $185.
Okay. So it's not bad and it's how long was it?
It was a full 8 hours. Like we started at 8, had half hour for lunch, and then went all the way till 5.
Holy shit.
So there's a lot of information, a lot of technique work there.
It's a lot, and it's really cool. Like he starts all the way from the basic of like if someone takes a swing at you, what's like a reactionary position that you can get to. It's not like, oh, I deflect this way and I come in with here, or I bob, or I do anything like that. It's like, no, how do you stop from getting knocked out so that you can potentially fight?
Yep.
And so he talks about a couple of different cover positions you can use with your hands. So you get up like that, and then once you're in that position and you've at least deflected that first blow, then what are we stepping to move into? Okay. And so each thing kind of builds and is an evolution on that one. And he gets into some jiu-jitsu stuff, so he starts going into like working as an underhook, right? But he doesn't talk about it in like jiu-jitsu terms. It's, we're fighting. You want to cause damage to me. I would like to either get away or end this one way or another. So I get this underhook. How can I move? What's the most effective way? How do I get to the back and get some of that like seatbelt control and stuff? So it's jujitsu grappling stuff, all in the context of like a real world simulation, right? So like if you're jujitsu, and he talks about some of that stuff, like part of the piece is when he gets into these ties, you'd be like, oh, well, I just want to take him to the mat and then we can fight down there. That's cool until you realize that this other dude also might have a gun or a knife and you're falling to concrete. And that's not cool. So you do those evolutions. Talks about some good, like effective ways to unholster, right, from your concealed position. And the one that was, at least for me, was one that I'm definitely going to start doing some kind of dry fire runs, is how to clear and draw with one hand. Right? So if you figure, like, if someone gets up in your personal space, like almost all of my practice before this, and even when you go through the class, is right, you grab with the offhand, pull up the garment, and then pull, and you can come into like the short and stuff. But if someone's coming at you, or like you've just defended this, right, and maybe you got a little bit of space, I can't take this hand that's now my left hand, right, my off hand. I can't take this now and help clear a garment because it's stopping this guy from punching me in the face. Or I'm on their backside and I have a hold of his off wrist, and that's what I'm controlling him with. I can't let go of that and then draw. So like how can I effectively clear the weapon and get my hand on it and draw it with just one hand? Which was something that, like, after he talked about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's stupid. Why didn't I ever think about doing that? So that was a cool takeaway. And then one of the other things that he had talked about was what he calls the thumb pec index. So in that same situation, if you are, say, like, ideally you have someone, you're on their back, you have, speaking for myself, I would have my left hand wrapped around the bad guy's left waist, but holding his right arm. So he's kind of pinned down. From that position, I can open my right hip, use my right hand, clear the weapon, draw, but I don't just want to like quick pull it out and start shooting, right? Because my dick's down there and a lot of other cool stuff that I want to keep is down there. So how do I stop from shooting my cool stuff? So you draw, and he says, bring that thing up and try to get your pec or your thumb of your shooting hand high up into your right pec, for me with my right hand. And then you're pinching your pinky and your thumb into your side, so the barrel is pointing down and kind of away from all your stuff. And then if you need to shoot, if the guy's off to the left or you need to shoot, adjust the position of your body. Don't cant the gun at all, right? Because if I'm here, I can't shoot myself as long as my gun's, well, I probably could, but it's really, really, really hard to shoot yourself if I'm up here this high. So if I need to shoot him, boop, I turn my whole body, or I take a little shuffle step, stay in the same position, and just move myself over to a line and get to shoot him. And in my second or third evolution, it worked out like fantastic that the guy came in. I did a really shitty job of fencing, which Lane was like, you're stupid, you would have died. But I didn't die. We get on, the fight keeps going, and it was like fantastic. He threw another shot at me, and I was able to slip into an underhook. And then he immediately went for a headlock, which allowed me to like duck underneath him. So it was like the exact evolution that we had practiced a bunch of times in like kind of half-ish speed. I got to do at full speed while this guy was trying to knife me. And it worked out fantastic. Plus I got to shoot him in the back like 7 times with sim rounds. And he just had this little thin t-shirt on. So I'm sure it fucking felt great.
Nice.
Yeah, so all in all, like the class was super cool, really fun. He wants to do them here in town. He would love to have, he essentially said that he would teach it like every weekend if he could fill it up. He likes to have, I think it was 12 to 15 people is what he'd be looking for. He's going to try to do another one this summer, but if popularity's there and he hears like there's more and more people who are interested in it, he'll do and host more classes, as well as look to expand maybe on some like level 2-ish classes, or make it like a 2-day one where you have one that's like what we did, and then the next one is maybe some groundwork along with maybe some knife fighting kind of stuff. But highly recommend it. It was the first one I've taken, so obviously my sample size is pretty small, but it was super cool and some real high quality basic things to take away that you could do dry fire skill at home, or you could get a friend and just practice some of the stuff like pretty easily.
Nice.
How are your workouts going, Brett?
Not bad. I said we've been working on the jumping. I think this was our third week. And I always know, like, whenever I did a lot of West Side stuff, we always talked about 3-week waves, and I feel like that 3-week wave was really hitting an end right there. Because we always warm up on our plyo day. We'll just, like, push the prowler just a little bit just to warm your legs up. And then we'll do medicine ball throws to the ceiling, and that fucking ball got further and further away from the ceiling every time I threw it. And I was like, oh, well, this must be that 3-week wall we hit here. But we did, like, kneeling jumps, jumping from knees to your feet, which I haven't done those for a while. Wasn't bad. Got up on some plates, or like on a 25-pound plate from my knees.
Oh, nice.
So it wasn't too bad. I still am not sure if Tanner's ever broad jumped 10 feet or not. Seems like a lot.
I did a lot of scrolling to try and find the thing.
He did. And I'm not saying he didn't. If he did, that's great, because 10 feet is a fucking long ways after you've been jumping. But overall, sounds like everybody's kind of staying on track except for Chris, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
He works out at home, so we don't really know.
Yeah, I get it. It's cold. You don't want to be outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we just like to check in, make sure everybody's still on the right path. You can comment, let us know if you're falling off, if you're staying on. We just want to keep everybody going in the right direction. Keep trying to teach people some things. And if you're going to do 75 hard, do 75 hard.
And just know it's for you. So whatever you're doing, it's for you.
Yeah.
So be honest with yourself. There's no point in lying to yourself.
Right.
And do something that you want to do. And understand that it's going to get hard. Like if you're doing 75 hard, or if you're doing any of these things, like there are all kinds of excuses. Like we all have excuses. By the end of the day, like life sucks some days. So.
And be realistic. Like I told Matt, I was like, the chances of me doing 75 hard are pretty fucking slim, because I'm here from 5 a.m. to usually 5 or 6. I can't leave because I don't have an employee, so I can't leave until that time. Then when I'm off work, I go home, eat, take a shower. It's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I go to bed at like 9. My last hour of the day, I'm not going to go walk around the neighborhood. I'm just keeping it real.
Yep.
I mean, if I could leave during the day, I would have no problem going and doing like another ruck like that or whatever, but I can't. So I just keep it real. I get, like, everybody says you can prioritize. I get that. I prioritize a lot of other things to get done. You know what I mean? And so it does take some prep, you know what I mean, to do some of these things, but still do the best you can, but just don't call it what it's not.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's for you anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's a great mental toughness program. We talk about a lot. I like Andy a lot. I like a lot of his stuff, a lot of his message. He just came out with a new book, his mental toughness book. I think it's sold out. They're doing pre-orders again. And I think he said he sold out his pre-order already, which I think he has a 75 hard program in there. So if you're looking for 10 pages a day to read, pick up Andy's book.
Yeah.
It's on his website. I think it's andyforsella.com. Other than that, you guys got anything to add? Chris, you got anything?
Nope.
Matt? I bought a gateway drum smoker. So when that comes in, we'll talk about that. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
So it should be here in like a couple of weeks.
I thought you were talking about gateway drugs.
Nope. I wanted the guy made a good point. He's like, I got the matte black one because it doesn't show any grease. So I took that class out of Helping You Barbecue, and I bought one.
Oh yeah, how was that class?
It was good. I think I've done enough of my own. So it was a beef ribs and pork belly class with a guy out of Kansas City, 3 Little Pigs. This guy travels like all over the world and does barbecue classes. I think I've just done enough of my own beef ribs and pork belly that when I listened to him, I was like, I don't really like what you're doing. I'm not saying it's wrong, because you make barbecue for yourself. It's whatever. But I was just like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you get to eat a full meal at the end, which is nice. We had beef ribs and
Was it good?
It was pretty good. I would have seasoned my beef ribs differently, but it's fine because you figure out your own ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But if you're new to barbecue or you just want to learn some stuff, the guys at Helping You Barbecue here, they bring people in. They have the classes on their website. They do a great job. I think they're like $100, $120 for the class. It's like it was like 9 to noon. So it's like a 3-hour class. Plus, like I said, you get like a full meal at the end. Every time I've been to one, you get like a full meal at the end. So the one guy, last time I took this guy's pork rib class for spare ribs, and it was really good. And then he actually gave you a rack of ribs to take home. So that wasn't bad either.
Yeah.
And I think I talked with the guys from Helping You Barbecue, and I think we're going to have them on here maybe when it starts to get closer to spring and barbecue season kind of
Cool.
starts to pick up. I think we're gonna get both those guys on here. They're interesting. They compete. They own a supply store. They help a lot of people out in the barbecue stuff. So that'll be this spring. Probably we'll have them on.
Cool.
But other than that, appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, if you want to check in with us on what you're doing, you can always comment. If you want to put your workouts out there, I still got to figure out this Discord thing because we got people post their workouts and their stuff on there, but I don't know enough about it. I need to find like a 15-year-old to teach me how to use Discord.
Yeah, that's really what you need to do.
So, but we appreciate you guys listening. Like, subscribe, share. We're on the YouTubes. We're on Apple. We're on podcasts. We're all over the place. But check us out, and we'll see you guys later.